I wish that I could have knocked him out at the start, but as we saw, he came to my ears and whispered, "Please be easy on me." He thought I'm Mike Tyson and I will follow his script 40 seconds after I broke the clown's jaw. We are boxers, not content creators. I wish that I could have knocked him out at the start, but as we saw...
The day after I woke up and told my wife, "Why did I do that?" I don't know. I just don't know what the hell goes on. I remember one thing, I had a very hard moment in that part of my life, but I assure you in that age, I could have put that clown in the first round, but I sold my soul. And
It's like, this is the clearest, like, fixed fight you're ever going to see. But look at this guy holding his hands out and watch. Watch that.
Oh.
He, like, literally shows him his chin,
like,
and he goes down. It's so fake. Look at, I mean, he's got nothing. It's like a guy who just learned boxing.
Who just had a boxing match that looks like a sparring match with a 58-year-old Mike Tyson. And then you're going to fight one of the absolute scariest knockout artists in the heavyweight division.
I didn't want to put him down early. You all know I was handcuffed. I don't want to say anything that I will be regretting in the future. But all I can say now is, the first 20 seconds was enough for me to end Jake Paul.
I keep hearing people say this won't kill influencer boxing, and they're probably right. But poison doesn't kill instantly either. It weakens over time, and this moment poisoned the well, and you won't notice it until fewer fighters say yes, until commissions ask tougher questions. The Mike Tyson angle still gnaws at me. Memory gaps aren't throwaway comments. They're flares. And flares don't fire themselves. And whether that was physical, psychological, or something messier, it never got resolved. It just got buried under hype and memes. And now Joshua's punch dug that grave back up. And once graves reopen, people start asking who put the body there in the first place. And trust me, somebody is sweating about that right now.
That guy did great for someone who's been boxing for like less than a decade. He has had no real professional opponents other than Tommy Fury that were legitimate world-class boxers.
I don't even remember.
Here's another thing people are missing. This shook fighters behind the scenes way more than fans realize because pros don't see drama. They see warning signs, and what they saw was the rulebook changing mid-sentence. And that's terrifying because it means the line between spectacle and
Nate
sport
Diaz, how are you prepping for your fight on August 5th against Jake Paul?
Insurers get tricky,
If it ain't
and easy
broke,
money
don't fix
suddenly
it.
starts asking
Honestly.
hard questions.
So that's it.
And
Let's
that
see.
never ends quietly.
Oh no, I don't remember the fight that much. I kind of blanked out a little. Listen, know what I remember? Coming back from the first round, and then the next day I remember Jacob doing some kind of, I don't know, what was he doing at the ring?
Oh, yeah, a little bow at the end. He bowed.
That's the last thing I remember. But the day after the fight, the day after I woke up and told my wife, "Why did I do that?" I don't know. I just don't know what the hell goes on.
What did you think of Jake's power, man, when you were in there?
I don't remember it. But my body was really sore. Yeah, my body, my chest, my stomach and stuff was really sore.
Watch how calm everyone looks on the surface and how frantic it feels underneath. That's reputation management. And the longer it takes for clear answers to show up, the worse it smells because clarity should be easy if everything was clean. But nothing about this feels clean. It feels filtered, negotiated, softened. And when stories get softened that fast, it's usually because something sharper is hiding just out of frame.
He's also nuts, right? Just the fact that he's willing to fight the two-time heavyweight champion, former Olympic gold medalist.
Yeah.
A guy who's gigantic in his prime, built like a Greek god.
Yeah.
And you're going to stand, and he's a one-punch killer. And you're going to stand in front
of Joe Rogan discussing this moment brought up what had become clear from Joshua's performance. I keep coming back to Joshua not as a villain or hero, but as an accelerant because he didn't
first session is strength. We're basically going to be doing some explosive weights, high intensity, short amount of time.
Control
We're
was the
working on
real
our
currency
sprint
here.
systems.
Control
and I'm
over
sure
opponents,
Larry has
control
some
over
surprises
narratives,
for me today.
control over outcomes.
One thing I knew
and
was
one
a hard
punch
worker.
took that
Second
away.
thing I knew genetically
And
he was
control
very
doesn't
gifted.
get surrendered
But
without a fight,
I knew
metaphorical
after the
or
evaluation we
otherwise.
had.
it's you could only take so much. And at a certain, like that one that he got from Joshua, say if you have like a punch card, you have like so many punches that you can get in your life, which I believe you do. I believe there's a certain number. That one was like 10 bunches.
Yeah.
That was like, there was a lot of concussions in that one punch.
Sure.
That was real damage.
We're here with Nate Diaz. How are you prepping for your fight on August 5th against Jake Paul?
But that's lazy because
Never seen this type of training
This
before.
context was soaked in marketing language, promising legitimacy without earning it. And when marketing outruns reality, someone pays the difference. And this time, the bill came due in bone and metal. And now it's being passed around hoping someone else picks it up. And that passing is getting frantic.
In pain?
Yeah, but
Does
it's
it
not
hurt
gonna. It's not from like talking.
Talk to me about what your jaw feels like, because you got
It's
what,
like
two,
a baseball in there.
two
And then
plates,
It just feels like
4 titanium plates.
4 titanium plates. How many do you have?
Just one.
8 screws. 8 screws.
I don't think Jake Paul is evil. I think he's a product, and products get pushed until they break. And when they break, the manufacturer blames the user. The user blames the environment. The environment blames chance. And chance becomes the scapegoat. But chance doesn't schedule fights. People do. And people make decisions. And decisions have consequences, even when nobody wants to own them. And this consequence is still unfolding.
I'm just hoping after this Floyd fight, maybe we can have a rematch. He did well, but I want to try it again.
Is that something that you would be interested in terms of righting the wrong and knocking him
I
out?
would be interested. Yes, I would. I would be interested in that.
Fight
This
for him.
ends with Anthony.
That's why people love Nate, actually. He gets his ass beat, but he keeps on getting his ass beat, and he's tough. But tough in this sport will get you knocked the fuck out. And whoever's on Nate's team watching this shit, trying to see how hard I'm training, yeah, see what you see.
And I swear somebody is
I'm knocking your boy the fuck out.
They knew when they knew it.
First session done, feeling good. 2 more to go. We got the track and boxing, but we got to make sure to hit the recovery. Let's go. Red light bed, ice.
I keep replaying the moment, and every replay makes it worse, because this wasn't just Joshua hurting the man. This was reality slamming head first into a carefully padded fantasy. And you could see it in Jake Paul's body language before the punch even landed. That tiny flicker of, oh, this guy isn't playing along. And once that realization hits, there's no influencer pivot, no camera angle, no edit that saves you. And that's when the room goes silent in a way that should scare you if you care about combat sports. Here's the part nobody wants to say out loud. Jake Paul didn't climb boxing. He curated it, handpicked it, sanitized it, controlled the risk variables like a startup testing beta software. And that works until someone like Anthony Joshua walks in with zero interest in an outcome.
Joshua said,
Zero
I went from
interest
fighting
in protecting
Tank
the
to
brand
a
and zero
real
interest in
one.
pretending this is content because Joshua didn't break rules. He followed the oldest one there is. Hit the guy until he stops moving. And the panic you felt afterward tells you everything. People keep throwing around the word bravery like it's a shield. But bravery without wisdom is just negligence. And negligence is what lawyers and insurers start circling like sharks because somebody signed off on this knowing the gap, knowing the danger, knowing how ugly this could get. And now watch how fast the conversation shifts from judgment to toughness, because toughness is safer than accountability. And trust me, someone in a suit is already rehearsing a sentence they hope
Look at
never
this, bro.
leaves.
I'm always
And
training.
don't get distracted by the blood in the replays, because the real
150
damage
pounds,
was psychological
dog.
and structural. Because
Easy
once the
work.
illusion breaks, you can't
40,000
unsee it.
reps a
And
day.
every influencer boxer
Look
now
at the
wakes up in a
forearm
colder
size.
world, knowing the ceiling isn't hypothetical anymore. It's concrete.
At least a couple
And
inches
Joshua
down.
smashed someone into it. And here's the scary part. Promoters knew this was possible. They just didn't think it would look this final, this clean, this unforgiving. And that mismatch is where secrets start leaking.
It was pretty
Now,
normal morning.
think about this for a second. Why did the tone change so fast? Why
Not
did
many
the joke
people get
stop?
these opportunities
Why did
and
Joe
to live
Rogan
this
suddenly
life,
sound
and
like a man
I feel
remembering past
guided by
funerals
God
instead of
through this
hyping a
camp and through
spectacle?
this process
Because
of making
fighters don't
this
watch fights
decision
like
to
fans do.
fight a
They watch
very, very
timing and
difficult
distance and
challenge.
intent.
God has
And what they saw was a
removed,
man
the
realizing
fear
mid-fight that
that
the
would
safety
like
net
normally
was
be
imaginary.
there. So
And imaginary
I
safety
feel-
nets are how careers
I feel
and lives
good,
get
and I'm
wrecked.
excited for fight
And
week.
that recognition
This fight
hit
for
hard.
me is way more exciting.
What really
than
messes with
Devontae, and I
me
think
is how
because
predictable
it's
the
more exciting
aftermath
for the
is.
fans,
Not the
and
knockout,
because of
the
the
fallout.
fact that
Because
it's a
boxing
harder
history is
challenge
a
for me.
graveyard of
People had
moments
a
where
lot of
entertainment
excuses
pushed too
against
far and
Gervonta,
everyone pretended to
oh,
be
he's a
shocked
smaller
after.
guy,
And it always
blah, blah,
follows
blah,
the same
the weight
curve.
difference, and now
Laughter,
I flip-flop the
curiosity,
roles.
concern,
Everyone thinks I'm
regret.
gonna die,
And
they
right
don't know
now
what
we're
I'm
sliding
capable of.
fast
And
towards
so
regret.
being the
And
underdog
regret is
and
when
being
people
able to go
start
in there and
rewriting
showcase
timelines and
what I'm
pretending they
gonna
were
do to
uncomfortable
Anthony
all along.
is more exciting
Yeah,
for me, and
right.
I think more exciting
I
for
don't
the fans.
buy the innocent act for a second.
That's
These
why we
aren't
get our sofa for
amateurs
Christmas.
stumbling into danger.
Anthony Joshua's
These are
head,
professionals
nigga,
who
just
understand force and damage and risk
on the
curves,
platter.
which means this gamble was intentional. And
There's a
intentional
very
gambles
clear
means
path
someone
to
was
being able to
expected
beat
to
Anthony
lose.
Joshua.
And
Something
here's the
about
question
I was-
nobody wants to answer. Who was it supposed to be? Because it clearly wasn't meant to look like this. Not this decisive, not this ugly.
and that gap between plan and outcome is loud. I keep hearing people say this won't kill influence boxing, and they're probably right. But poison doesn't kill instantly either. It weakens over time, and this moment poison the well, and you won't notice it until fewer fighters say yes, until commissions ask tougher questions. And the more I sit with it, the more Anthony Joshua's name keeps echoing in my head, because he didn't just knock Jake Paul out. He knocked the mask off an entire lane of boxing that survived on people agreeing to play pretend. And Joshua never agreed. Not verbally, not mentally, not for a second. And that's why this feels so violent beyond the punch, because he treated Jake like what he actually was in that moment. A man standing in front of him. Not a brand, not a YouTube empire, not a storyline. And that refusal is what broke everything. Jake Paul fans keep yelling experience gap and unfair matches. But listen carefully. Jake chose this. He chased legitimacy like a trophy. And legitimacy bites back. And the second you ask to be treated like a real boxer, you don't get to complain, and a real heavyweight answers you honestly. And Joshua answered with the most honest language the sport has. And now everyone's shocked like they didn't see this road leading exactly here. And let's talk about Eddie Hearn for a second, because promoters don't trip and fall into these situations. They calculate them. And Hearn knows exactly what Anthony Joshua represents in terms of power and risk. So when people act surprised that this went nuclear, I laugh because no one in that room was clueless. They just believed the illusion would hold a little longer, maybe one more event, one more payday.